guys, I'm Rose Alaimo. Today we're going to be talking about Mermaids, the 7th song on my new solo rock album, Grow. Hey guys, I'm Rose. Welcome back to the Grow Show. Today we're talking about Mermaids, which is a really fun tune, so hopefully today will be light and fluffy for you. Mermaids was actually written in my early 20s, right around within the same couple months period when I wrote Yellow Balloons, which is also on the album, and Orchid, which is a single that I released just before the album released. It was not the best time of my life, mentally or emotionally speaking, but apparently it was a very fruitful time musically, so we'll take that. That's a positive. During this time in my early 20s, and I think I've touched on this in previous episodes, I went through just kind of a confused period. I was just really unsure about what I was doing with my life and kind of where I was headed. Through most of my younger life, I had navigated the world with my head, and not my gut or my heart or my inner voice. So I would do things that made sense on paper, that were rational, and not necessarily because they were what I wanted or what felt right to me. I think for me, it was a coping mechanism and it was a safety thing, but this struggle really defined my teenage years and early 20s. And I really grappled with it a lot. Should I do what I want to do? What feels right to me? Or should I do what I should do? Should I do what I should do? What's logical and what's safe and what's stable? Should I listen to my head or my heart? And this is how it fits into the album. So again, Grow is about mental, emotional, and spiritual growth, and the struggles we find as we try to grow and move forward towards something better in our life. And this whole, what should I do versus what do I want to do conflict has been one of those struggles that I've encountered as I've moved through my own life. Lyrically, Mermaids explores this conflict for me, right? And the space in between the two. So as a confused 23-year-old or so writing this song, I was writing about a hope that somewhere out there, someone or something had these answers, and that they were discussing and giving serious thought to these important issues that I was really struggling with. Theirs was this whole beautiful realm of the heart, versus the realm of the head that I always felt that I lived in. But this heart realm was always kind of somewhere else, and I could never completely reach it, or I could only kind of vaguely hear a part of what was being said there, or even if it's not an actual place with people like that, and it only exists in an imaginary world, it's a world that I felt like I could at times almost reach, and in the song, that's expressed by, sometimes I jump into the sea. Was a real bear to mix. There are 12 different vocal tracks. That's not even vocal effects tracks. There were a couple more of those, but just I was singing 12 different vocal tracks in this tune, and there's some insanely stacked vocal harmonies in it as well, particularly during the chorus. And the issue that this presents is if you have a bunch of vocal harmonies, they all really need to be balanced just right, because if one of them is poking out a little too much, it's going to kind of throw the whole thing off. So it's a lot of work to balance them all out. It's kind of imagine if you're constructing, I don't know, a bridge over water, and it has, say, 10 supports. If one of those supports is a little too low or a little too high, it's going to really destabilize that and throw that structure off. And the same thing was kind of the case in the song. It was a hard one for me to mix. So like I had said, I was working with producer Jamie Hill on this, who was mentoring me through it. And so we did get, a pretty solid mix down, which took a couple of weeks, but it got there. And then right before the album got done, I realized that I had made kind of a huge error with all of the songs, and then I had to go back and remix them all. It was an insane, I think it took like 6 weeks to go back and remix all the songs, but this one, I swear it took like 10 years off my life. Like I just couldn't even, it was unbelievably stressful rebalancing all those vocal harmonies. So I'm really happy with how it came out, but it was not an easy one for me personally to do. But the harmonies are great. And so I'm actually going to play you like a soloed clip of one of the choruses, just so you can kind of get a feel for those out of context, because they pop a little bit better if you hear them on their own.
Sometimes I jump into the sea. Sometimes they're swimming there with me, mumbling about the difference in life between the weight of the mind and all we can prove, and the heart, and the heart.
The other fun part about recording Mermaids was the solo. So like I said, I wrote this song in my early 20s, and I actually had a really old recording of it that I had done at the time, as I did with a lot of old recordings, thinking, I'll just do this as kind of like a demo so that I could remember the song, and someday when I have the means and the ability, I'll do them right, which is, I guess, kind of what I'm doing now, which is kind of funny. But I loved the solo, the original solo on the original recording. I just thought it came out so great. And I actually ended up using that original solo on this mix. So I had the old tracks. So I just swiped the 2 or 3 tracks that had the solo on it and put them into this mix, tweaked them up. And fortunately, it came out really great. What I did with that solo is something I used to do when I was younger a lot, just because it oftentimes produced some great fruit, is like I would play a track, just a normal solo, and then I would take that track and reverse it and then play both of those tracks on top of each other at the same time. Sometimes it sounds like a train wreck, but in some cases, and I think Mermaids is one of them, sometimes it came out really, really cool. So I'll play you a solo of that too, so you can kind of hear what's going on as well. Thanks for stopping by again, guys. It was great to do this as always. I'll be back with song number 8 next week. It's called No Resolution. It's an insane rocker, and I'm stoked to chat about it. I really hope you're enjoying these videos. I'd love if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel, tell your friends about the music, leave a thumbs up or a comment if you so choose, and definitely reach out if you have any questions or any feedback about any of the tunes. Have a great week. See you soon.